Welcome back to Heroes and Brews with Nerdy Dudes. For today, we're going to do a nerdy review with Heroes and Brews, and it's going to be on The Old Guard. It's on Netflix. It was a comic by Image Comics, written by, I think it's Greg Rucka is his name, and he is, award-winning writer within the comic realm. I know he's done some Wonder Woman stuff. I forget what else he's done.
I think he did Batwoman too, dude.
Did he?
I'm pretty sure he did Batwoman. Yeah, I heard an interview with him and Kevin Smith, and they were talking to him about actually on Kevin Smith's cheap plug, Fat Man Beyond. Everybody subscribe to that podcast. Greg Rucka was on, and they had brought that up. So yeah, he's done quite a few different things.
Yeah, he's been around the block,
Yeah.
and I never watched or never read, The Old Guard before when it was a comic. I'm going to now after watching the film.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want to keep this a little spoiler free before, for a little bit. And then as we go on, maybe do some spoilers. But I just thought it's a sick concept. You got these people who are mortal and, they're kind of like, I wouldn't say bounty hunters, but they're like soldiers / bounty hunter type people. They try it. Yeah, mercenaries is a good word.
Yeah.
And, they put themselves in danger to do good with their abilities. Now, this immortality doesn't last forever. It does last for a long ass time. At least 100, 200, 300 years, maybe even more. But it's just a cool concept. What did you think of that? Did you know anything going into the movie when you watched it, or?
No, I knew nothing. All I saw was that there was this new Netflix movie, and we may not have talked about this before. Like Netflix, man, like the marketing. I just don't like. I go on every day, and there's always new shit. And I'm like, what is this thing? So I saw there's a movie with Charlize Theron, and I saw Chiwetel Ejiofor. I might be butchering the guy's name. He was in Doctor Strange.
Yep.
12 Years a Slave, I think. So I'm like, okay, what is this thing? The Old Guard. I know nothing about it. And then I kind of like just let it go. But then I kept hearing some buzz about it. And then I heard through the buzz that it was based off a comic. So of course I'm like, okay, like what is this? And then I was literally listening to that podcast, the interview with Kevin Smith and Greg Rucka. And they were talking about The Old Guard, and they actually had Greg Rucka, I believe, write the screenplay for it, which doesn't happen too often. I mean, the comic writer writing the screenplay for a film or TV show, which is really cool. So I was like, I got to check this thing out, because I kept hearing people are like, it's really good. Because I think some people anticipate Netflix films to be kind of shit, and there have been some shit ones. I really haven't seen many like movies on Netflix, like Netflix original films that I would brag about. I guess.
I would.
So people, I don't know.
The one with Chris Hemsworth. I'm blanking on the name. That was fantastic.
Extraction.
Yeah.
I liked it too. I thought it was a fun film. Apparently, a lot of people shit on that film. A lot of people.
The action is unreal in that one, and in this one, in The Old Guard, the action scenes are crazy insane. It's just, it flows so well. The camera work is brilliant during it, and it's just action packed. You got your blood, you got your gore, and just the violence and the action sequences are just insane. It's so cool.
That, man. I think and I don't really know how far it goes back, but I credit the Daredevil Netflix series, and I credit movies like John Wick, to where directors who are directing action sequences, fight sequences, realize this whole like doing these quick shots and then editing it. I can't say it. Putting them together. Just doesn't work. Like, let's make the audience feel like they're in that room, and let's really focus on a well choreographed fight scene. And so I love seeing that these action based movies are following suit with taking that stuff seriously. The fighting style to a degree was kind of John Wick-esque, but regardless, it was awesome. It was awesome. The action sequences in it.
And
I love.
the way Andy, I believe the main character's name was
Mhm.
it? Yeah. So it reminded me of like that Ben Affleck Batman style fighting. Obviously not as, gory and brutal as Batman wasn't as gory and brutal, but it was just quick, fluid, like one to the next, punch, kick, shoot, move, dodge. Like it was so fluid. Like the if it was, I don't know if the actresses and the actors did the stunts, if they had stunt doubles, but whoever was doing these sequences, they were very talented,
Mhm.
very professional, and could move like no other. And
I agree.
it helped with the quick camera pans, the quick camera jerks, the editing. It just, it
I
brought tears
agree,
to my eyes.
dude. I love it. I love that people are taking these fighting sequences seriously, and you have these close up shots, and some of the close up shots, man, it looked like Charlize Theron was actually doing some
It
of
did.
this stuff. And I've heard nothing but that she's a badass. Like, have you ever seen Mad Max Fury Road?
No.
You gotta check that out. Like, she played a character called Furiosa, and I heard they're doing a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, and it's going to be centered around her. But I'm kind of sad that I heard that it's not going
Yeah,
to
they're
be her.
not casting her. Yeah.
I don't get that. But anywho, she is badass, and I couldn't help but think. I'll be honest with you, and I know everybody's going to be like, "Of course you did." As I'm watching it, I'm like, "Shit, she would have made a sick Catwoman." Like if you stuck with Ben Affleck's Batman, like an older grizzled Batman, she would be around. I don't know how old she is, but a Catwoman that's been around as long as Ben Affleck's Batman, and to see like Ben Affleck and her, Charlize Theron, interact together, like that's all I kept thinking was, damn, she would be such a sick Catwoman. Like even her haircut in it, I was like, oh my god. But one of my favorite thing about the movie was, and I want to know more about it, is the mythology.
Yes.
These individuals, these immortals, and how some have been around for centuries upon centuries. And I thought it was really interesting, which I don't know, can I get into
Yeah.
a
So
spoiler?
yeah, yeah. So I think we've spoken, well enough into it, and I think we could throw some spoilers in.
So if you haven't seen it yet, pause it, watch it, come back at this point in the video and listen, or podcast, whatever medium you decide to choose. How even though they're immortal, like you had said, I think you had said it earlier, so whatever, it's probably spoiled, but that you're immortal until you're not, which I thought was really interesting. That at one point your wounds may not heal, and you don't know when that is. So just and what I really appreciated too, amongst a lot of different things in this movie, was that they didn't treat the audience like they were stupid. You didn't have like a narration or this whole thing like these people are immortal and they were immortal for this long of time, and they were they started off immortal because this thing happened and then this thing happened. They just jumped into it, and as an audience, or as a member of the audience, I was like, all right, I get it. Okay, they're these immortal people, and it seems like they stick together. They're a team, and you don't need to explain any further. But
Well,
me
no.
as an audience member, I want to know more.
So but then they also tease, with flashbacks and little hints here and there that they didn't overpower the movie or didn't distract you. They were perfectly placed. And
Yes.
there's another thing that they did near the end, which is not like a big spoiler, but Copley shows, the whole mapping of what he found out about, the impact that these immortals had throughout time and the different things that it led to, and saving these certain people led to Amelia Earhart, to curing diseases, to all these cool things. So that's what I like about the mythology and want to know more about, because it showed little hints from different centuries and different parts of time that they were in and influenced, and then it also shows what kind of impact they made on a global scale, and that was really cool to me. And so I'm also curious to know what the newer immortals will be doing, in the future as impact wise.
That's what I mean. The mythology is really, really interesting. That was definitely my favorite part. Was just that whole concept, and to you start the film, and as you're watching, you're like, okay, I get it. they're immortal. Okay, they've been around for a pretty long time, and oh wow, so they had impact on these major events in history. That's pretty cool, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and oh, here's a new one, and what does that mean for the group? And so I was just very happy that it wasn't there wasn't like a almost a narration, and I don't mean like an actual person like in a booth like, and now Charlize Theron's character will do this, but I mean it wasn't so like, hey audience, we're gonna like tell you every little detail about every little thing. You could just sit back, relax, and enjoy the story, and let the story play out. And I don't know, man. I was just pleasantly surprised how
Yeah.
much I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a really fun film.
I think
Really
each of the Immortals had, fun characteristics to them. They all came from different time periods, and the two lovers, I forget their names. I just watched it last night, so it's not stuck in my head. But
Joey and Nikki, and I think
yes,
Joey
and Booker. Sorry,
Booker. Joey was actually the actor that played Jafar in the live action Aladdin movie.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool that they each had their own like circumstances that brought them together. And Nikki and Joey ended up becoming in love.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they described their love very well at the one point when they were in the cop car together.
Oh, it was great.
I thought that was awesome. And they also came from two different worlds. They were enemies from two different sides that came together, which was awesome. Yeah.
It was, oh man, and that's the thing, like I wanted to know, like I wanted so bad to be able to like pause the movie at that point and jump into the story and see the interactions that they had with each other through centuries of living. Like,
yeah,
the whole concept, like, and now like after watching the movie and letting it digest and thinking about more and more, I'm like, this is such a cool story.
It is
such an interesting story. And it seems as if we're going to possibly get more.
I think there is, yeah. Because that surprise ending, I knew it. Mm-hmm. I knew she... Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it, but I knew she was going to show up. I had a feeling, and then as it was, like, the ending was coming near, I happened to scroll forward because there was still, like 15, 20 minutes left. I wanted to see if it was all credits. It wasn't. So then I saw... Well, no. This is before the credits start. I'm talking about like a little before the credits. So they had, Booker stumbling around, open his door, and pop, there goes the surprise. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. If she's still immortal, what's going to happen with Andy?
Well, here's the thing, dude. Like, you got to wonder, so when her and Andy, and I think the other character we're mentioning is it Queen? Is her name Queen or Quinn?
I don't know. It's not. I don't think it's Queen. It's like Q. It's spelt weird. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I don't think it's Queen.
That character though.
Yeah.
So when she's taken away and she's put in this metal
casing, coffin's good.
And they throw her in the ocean, and I like what an awful thing, man. You keep dying and you keep coming back, and you can't get it out. Like, holy shit! Like,
you just drown for centuries? Like, what?
I mean, holy shit! So of course we're wondering, well, how the hell did she get out? Like what? And Booker, I love the character Booker. Of course, he betrayed his group, so they were like, screw you, dude. Like, you're a piece of shit. Get the hell away from us. But I really like this character, and I really sympathize with his character. I sympathize with all of it, and the whole idea of they loved at different points in their lives, and the fact that these people that they loved, whether it was a spouse, whether it was children, that spouse or the children, they had to watch die.
Yeah,
and they themselves had to continue living.
And forgot about them. Andy was talking about how she doesn't remember her mom or dad's voice or what they look like. She can't because she's been alive for so long. But what really stole it from me was Nile, the new immortal.
Loved her.
So her arc, because she was like, I want to be with my family. I want to watch them die. And then she saw what Andy was going to do and sacrifice herself, for their, her teammates. Mm-hmm. She came back, kicked ass. And the awesome thing was when she saved all four of them from from the biotech company, I guess we'll call it. I forget the name of it.
It was like Merrick.
Merrick, yeah.
Yeah.
So, dude, the whole scene of them protecting Andy, because spoiler alert, she lost her mortality, was sick. The movements they made, and then I think when Nicky got his face blown back, I knew what was the other guy's name?
Joey, I believe.
Joey, I knew he was going to kill that guy. I knew it.
He was like, that shot Nicky. Like, he shouldn't have done it. And the way that he killed him, like flipping him over and then his neck just
right in his head. Yeah, it was sick.
Oh my God, dude. It was, I thought it had fantastic action, fantastic dialogue, fantastic dramatic moments, but it also had some comedy, but the comedy was laced in there appropriately. Like, it worked. It wasn't
forced.
Forced. Yes. Like, there was, I don't know. The more I think about it, I was like, I really freaking love this movie. I really enjoyed this movie. It was, and even people who are not fans of comic books, it's just a very interesting story, very well acted, great action movie. That fight scene on the plane between, I'm sorry, you said Niall?
Niall and Andy, yeah.
That fight sequence and like whatever song they played while they were fighting,
it was so good.
Like, got me hyped.
it was funny because this is another, obviously, spoiler. We already spoiled some things. It was cool when she spoke in Russian to the pilot, and she's like, "You obviously don't speak Russian," and she's like, "What?" Because she unhooked her. She's like, "I said play dead," and they just start fighting. And Andy's having a good time, like she's smiling and stuff. And you can see Niall's pissed because she's mad that she got tricked, and Andy's just like, "All right, I'm gonna kick your ass. You'll get some good licks in, but they're not gonna affect me because I can heal. So can you." So it was cool.
But the effects were cool too, man. I mean, when they would show Niall healing and like her leg like adjusting after being broken, or when she hit that guy,
or when Booker's like was like bowed, and everything just starts coming back together,
and stuff like that. And speaking of or about that Merrick guy when they flew out the window, the guy who played Merrick, because I'm a Harry Potter fan, was actually the Dursley kid who was Harry's cousin, shitty, fat, stupid-ass cousin. That's who that was.
Who was perfectly cast for this role.
Yes.
His bug eyes, always like this when he was talking, so creepy. Knew he just wanted to make some money, and it was good.
It was like the casting was awesome. And everybody really, I don't know, everybody just brought it. I didn't feel at any point that it came across cheesy or anything like that. It was really, really good. Really good movie, man. I enjoyed it a ton, as if you couldn't tell by me like shouting its praises during this whole show.
Yeah, it's really cool. If you're a fan of Image Comics, if you're not a fan of Image Comics, watch the film. If you like action, it's got plenty of it. It's brilliantly choreographed, brilliantly shot, and you will be so happy that you gave this film a chance. Netflix does bring it sometimes, like with Stranger Things. It has very good content at times. Sometimes it looks like they're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. But this is not one of those moments. So, Kev praised it. I'm praising it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do have a question for you. And I meant to ask you this earlier, but I guess it's probably better to ask you at the end. And I didn't mean to cut you off there. I'm sorry. As much as we loved it as a film, I couldn't help but think, as I was watching it, would I have preferred it as a series, like a 13-episode series, and let it flesh out a bit? Or do you think it worked as a 2-hour movie?
Nope, 2-hour movie. I think that's all you needed. Yeah. I think they did it flawlessly. I think they got the whole story across very well within that 2 hours. I don't think it needed more. I don't think it needed less. I think they nailed it right on the head.
Cool. I was just curious. I mean, I didn't dislike it as a film, but I think we're, a lot of us are so spoiled by like television nowadays. Like television is sometimes, I think, surpass film.
Yeah.
And, television, especially on these streaming services, that you know, let you have 13 episodes and they really flesh out a story, I couldn't help but think, if it was done in that format, would it have been even better? What, like, should it have been there? Like, was
I
it
think you
meant for
can.
something like that?
I
Or
think you can put it into TV form with little spin-offs about the history of each character.
that would be cool. Yeah.
But with that being said, if
Yeah.
you've seen the film, give us your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, Kev,
Cheers.
cheers.